Hi, I'm Dennis Howard of the Movement for a Better America. We are a fellowship of men, women, and families dedicated to restoring a culture of life in America. Some people consider that a lost cause, but not me. You see, I remember a time in America when it was not just illegal to kill an unborn child. Most Americans also considered it unthinkable. Those times were as tough as the times we face today. People just had more hope because faith and family were at the heart of how they lived. They saw children as their best hope for the future. Italians had a saying that every child brings his own loaf of bread under his arm. The Irish just had kids. My mother had 6. My Aunt Mary had 7. I had at least 40 first cousins, but most seemed more like brothers and sisters. Families were that close. I know about tough times because I was born just 10 days after 1929. Money was scarce, and so were jobs. My dad was lucky to work 2 or 3 days a week in his job on the New York docks. As we grew up, my brother and I sometimes made more money selling newspapers than my father earned in a week. We raised our own chickens for dinner on Sunday and had our own victory garden all during World War II. We learned to be resourceful because we had to. It was an amazing time. People were struggling, but they never lost their love for children. When I stopped at the end of my paper round to visit my cousins, the street was teeming with children. They were playing every kid's game under the sun, from stickball to ring alivio. Soon the mothers were hanging out their windows, calling their kids home for supper. On Sundays, the churches were filled to overflowing. Faith was as natural as breathing. Yet these were the same people who were able to win World War II by putting 12% of our total population under arms. If you were male, 18 to 35, and could walk, you were drafted. The big kids, who were my heroes growing up, became the heroes of Pearl Harbor, Guadalcanal, and D-Day. 400,000 of them didn't even come home. Meanwhile, their families manned the factories and made the sacrifices needed to win a truly global war. The strange irony is that if abortion had been legal for 40 years before World War II, there is no way we could have won that war, or the wars that followed. Instead, we would have arrived in 1940 with 30% fewer people and a 30% smaller industrial base. There is no way we could have won a global war on the scale of World War II. After 40 years of abortion on demand, we certainly couldn't do it today. But this is not about fighting wars. The Greatest Generation also fathered the baby boom that drove the greatest period of prosperity America has ever known. Then along came the sexual revolution of the 1960s. Birth rates dropped like a rock. Then the Supreme Court repealed laws protecting the unborn in all 50 states. Roe v. Wade became the biggest rollback of states' rights in history. In fact, what the Supreme Court did was to declare war against the young. What I could not foresee is that abortion would wipe out 31% of the generation under 40. The womb has since become the most dangerous place on earth. Killers on death row have a better life expectancy than the average child in the womb, with black babies having the lowest prospects of all. Over 40% of them are aborted. What followed was an inversion of the values that had long kept America strong and free. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll became the mantra for our culture. Pornography and casino gambling became new growth industries. Big box stores wiped out mom and pop businesses all over America. The constitutional commitment to secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity went out the window as if it had never been written. In 1950, there was one vehicle on the road for every child under 18. Today, there are 3 vehicles on the road for every child under 18. It's as if we traded in our kids for cars. Now we're shifting precious food production from feeding the hungry kids of the world to fueling cars with ethanol. More and more Americans are waking up. There is something very wrong with this picture. Of course we know that there is no magic cure for abortion. It's not something that can be solved by the stroke of a politician's pen or the edict of some judge. It is something that can only be resolved by changing hearts and minds. The only cure is full and open discussion of the whole truth about the abortion industry and what it is doing to destroy the American future. And that's what this movement for a better America is all about. We want all of America to become aware of the hidden costs of abortion, morally, spiritually, socially, and economically. Even if you never had an abortion, sooner or later you're going to get stuck with the bill, which in taxes alone adds up to an additional $60,000 for every man, woman, and child in America. Already, abortion has cost us over $39 trillion in lost GDP. That's 3 times our total national debt. However, we believe that if the silent majority in America will only speak up, we can reduce the number of abortions by 2/3 within a decade and open the way to a new America where children are welcome again. We had that kind of a country once. We can have it again. 3 out of 4 women have never had an abortion and wouldn't think of having one. That's the kind of majority we need to bring an end to abortion. We also seek to help build a new majority that brings together social and economic conservatives who realize that the only way America can prosper is to restore the family to its rightful place in the heart of America. We can't win the cultural war without it. You can help by supporting this common sense approach to restoring America's greatness. Make your voice heard today. Write to us at the Movement for a Better America, P.O. Box 472, Mount Freedom, New Jersey, 07970. Or email me at mbaforlife@gmail.com. Thank you.